Hey everybody, it's Jessica with 1000 Calls a Day with the final installment of our How to Train Your My Outdesk virtual assistant to make 1000 calls a day. Today we're going to talk about something that's near and dear to my heart because it's what I do every day. It's how to lead and manage your virtual assistants. Hey Jeff, how's it going?
Really good, Jessica. I love this subject because I feel like for all of those people I've come in contact with that said that virtual assistants don't work or they weren't able to be successful with their virtual assistant, I know it sounds harsh, but it's, I believe, a mismanagement or a hiring problem that those people were facing. So if they're managed correctly and there's a focus there, you will certainly have success using a virtual assistant.
I can't help but agree. So I'm going to start off right off the bat with daily huddles. It is something that is imperative to my team. Daily huddles, we go over the numbers that happened yesterday. We go over what our highs and lows were also the day before. It also tends to be kind of a water cooler moment for everybody since we are virtual and we are spread, 5,000 miles apart. I want everybody to feel like we're a cohesive team. So being able to share in the best and the worst calls from the day before is really important. It gives everybody a good laugh, and is a great way to build your team up and to help each other support one another every day.
Awesome. I like that a lot. In addition to that, Jessica, one of the things that's helped us to be very successful is having a weekly training call. Obviously those daily calls keep everybody connected, and you can address any quick issue that someone might be having. But I know that a lot of virtual assistants need an hour or two of direct training pertaining to the type of calls that they're making. And so one of the things that I've done is throughout the entire week, I'll have my virtual assistants send me emails throughout the week of different challenges that they're facing. It might be within scripting for a particular type of call. It might be with highlighting a lead or sending it over to an agent. There's a lot of different issues that your VAs might have. And I myself personally will get on a conference call. I like doing them via video so we can all see each other. We really like using Google Hangout for that. You could obviously use Skype or Join Me. There's a lot of different software tools out there for that. But I'll spend an hour to two directly training all the VAs. I love making sure in that training session to do role play calls, and then after each person has an opportunity of doing a role play call, we'll always highlight the positives and the negatives of the call, helping the VAs see how a call should be made, and with any mistakes that they're making sure that we point out the things that they need to work on a little bit. In addition to that, something else that we've done day in and day out is a BOD, beginning of day report, and an EOD, end of day report. It's very imperative for your success with your virtual assistant that your focus, laser eye focus on exactly what activities your virtual assistant need to be doing day in and day out. Now, I understand those activities can change even within a day, within an hour, just by you sending them an email or a text. But at the beginning of each day, you want your virtual assistant to send you an email letting you know exactly, specifically how they're going to spend their time that given day, even if it's a 4-hour shift or an 8-hour shift, what their plan is that day. And then you yourself need to look at that email and verify that that was the activity that you had told them that you wanted them to complete that day. If they end the day and do something entirely different than what they put in their beginning of day report, then you have a problem. If they're not listening to the thing you asked them to do, then you have a problem. And so it's very good to have them send you that report. And then, of course, the end of day report is going to let you know the results that they were getting. The results I recommend that you always track is going to be the total number of dials that they make, the number of connects that they have, and the number of highlighted leads. And then I want to know from where were those highlighted leads drawn. So I have my VAs making expired calls, just listed, just sold. We have them calling within past clients and current people in our database that have never bought, sold, or referred. So I want to know how many call attempts they've made within each of those categories, how many people they've highlighted within each of those categories, and then how many new leads they were able to generate to us. Another point to that is benchmarking. So when you had a virtual assistant that you trust and you know they're working hard each and every day, you keep those numbers for 6 months and you'll know what an average day should look like. So when you bring on a new virtual assistant, maybe your second or your third, you now have a benchmark to train and to coach that other VA to help them get to the place that your other VAs are right now.
Absolutely. I want to talk about one of the things that I do with my team is we have weekly 411 meetings for each virtual assistant. So I take 15 minutes out of my day for each one of my assistants, and I give them a call and we go over long-term and short-term goals professionally and personally. These are the people that this is the way I can tell which people I'm going to bring up as team leads and who's going to move forward and up in our organization. It also shows me, who is who's struggling, who needs a little bit of help, and what exactly are they struggling with, and how do I help them achieve that goal. The other thing that we use a lot is technology. Being virtual, you have to have good technology, and one of the things that I use is Vonage Business. That's our phone system that all of our VAs use. Um, with Vonage Business, I'm able to monitor, whisper, and barge if I'd like to each one of my extensions. I also have a very neat reporting function. I can tell when the extension is engaged. If they're making manual dials, I can track how many minutes the phone is engaged for each call. I can track when, when it was an outgoing call or when it was an incoming call. And I can see my whole company in a flow chart as to who's making the most calls and at what times they're making and receiving the most calls. The other thing is Mojo. Mojo has a fantastic way to the Mojo scorecard. It tells me how many minutes they actually spent on Mojo talking, not actually how many minutes Mojo was engaged, but how many minutes were spent talking on Mojo, which calls were connected and which calls were wrong numbers, how many do not calls we got. Scorecards are a great way. You can even have scorecards for each separate list. So if you upload into Mojo each list, so you've got your expireds, your FISBO list, your FISBO list for neighborhood A, your FISBO list for neighborhood B, your expired list for neighborhood A, your just list, etc. As many lists as you want to create. I can tell you how many people answered the phone. I can tell you how many minutes we talked to those people. It's just a really great way to see how the day progressed for each one of the VAs.
Awesome. That is some really good advice, Jessica. Thank you for that. And I just want to make the last point, guys. If you want to be successful with your VA, you're going to need to put at least 30 minutes a day in with your virtual assistant, at least for the first couple of months. You might get to a point where it runs seamlessly with you only spending 20 or 30 minutes a day. But, I have found over the years that the virtual assistants I've had the most success with are the ones that I managed the most. I stayed the closest connected to them. I actually showed them I cared. They're not just pencil pushers. They have real emotions. They're real human beings on the other side of the world, and we want to make sure that they're successful. We have to motivate them. We have to treat them like we would want to be treated ourselves, following the golden rule. And most importantly, we need to manage our business. We need to oversee our virtual assistants and everything that they're doing to help them be as successful as possible.
Can't agree more. So that's it. That's how we manage and train my Outdesk virtual assistants to make 1,000 calls a day. Jeff, thank you so much for joining in with me on this, and look forward to speaking to you again soon.
Thanks, Jessica.
All right.